Hey fellas, and welcome back to Roblox Racer. Today's video is going to deal with the best SCP games you can play in 2021. Let's get into it. Number 1, SCP Anomaly Breach. It is a survival game where players have to perform multiple objectives so they can escape the facility. This game's really scary. Some of its features include over 20 plus SCP creatures in the game that roam and kill people, hence it is suggested to be careful. But you can utilize the game's weapons and items to navigate your way in this game.
Oh, hello, yeah!
Surface. Peanuts on.
Number 2, SCP Demonstration Facility, Site 101. It's another SCP game, but it differs in the fact that you can experience zombie outbreaks, SCP-008, SCP-173, and the horrifying Shy Guy, also known as SCP-096 here. You can also encounter a burning man, alligator, lizard, mask, and plague doctor. There's more to this list. So in short, there's so many SCP creatures here. It's a fun game, you can kill people randomly. Number 3, SCP Roleplay. This game's a role-playing game and not RPG role-playing. You can choose between a wide selection of characters of your favorite SCPF roles. In this game, you can see Class D prisoners, scientists, the security, some of the Chaos Insurgents, the administrative, the internal security, and many more. It also shows a variety in the gun archive. You can get an M4, a Glock, and more. In here, the SCP creatures can kill people. You're assigned multiple quests here that you can finish as well.
Does it actually rotate? Because that sounds cool.
Number 4, SCP Breach. SCP Breach is a horror FPS game that means you may experience jump scares and spookage fest. Play at your own risk. The game features various roles and jobs, as well as objectives that are either to escape or to kill. It is composed of features that enable the players to use guns and abilities to their full extent. It's heavily round-based, and the objective varies depending upon whether you are a trooper, a neutral, or an SCP feature. It's really fun.
Okay, cool. And you can read about all your favorite.
Number 5, SCP-3008. It's an infinite IKEA game. You'll wander through the vast horror land of furniture located within SCP-30081. You have to build a base, survive from the employees attacking you, and most importantly, stay alive. This game has both single-player and multiplayer modes. You just have to survive.
Video. Now before we hop into the tips and then the tutorial, all that good.
Number 6, become SCP Shy Guy. Pretty much like the SCP-09 demonstration, in this you are going to be the Shy Guy and you're not going to kill everyone and hunt them to death. Number 7, SCP Tycoon. This game aims to build the best SCP foundation ever in the dropper-based SCP Tycoon game. Hosts a lot of big creatures. Number 8, SCP F1 Site Delta. This game has one goal, which is to secure the anomalies and SCP creatures. It's another role-playing game, and the architecture is pretty much similar to the rest of the SCP games. Number 9, Project SCP. Project SCP is a first-person game that's also a VR game, having a round-based SCP game as a part of its content. It's functional on all platforms, and it features a bunch of weapons and specifically, guns. You can also decide on the role you want to play in the game. You get to choose the side from which you want to play. That's whether you want to be a mobile task force officer or the Class D prisoner. Number 10, SCP-096 Demonstration. In this game, Shy Guy will be the prime antagonist. You guys are in the maze and you're being hunted by the Shy Guy. The maze has no exit.
Also, yeah, I played on...
Number 11, Site 61 Roleplay. It's a role-playing game and its primary objective is research and containment of SCPs. Number 12, Area 57. Welcome to Area 57, an underground facility that contains anomaly objects. All these defy the laws of human nature, but its other elements are pretty much similar to the other role-playing games.
Get moderator.
Number 13, Site 76, Prison Anomalies. This game's an SCP-inspired prison compound. You're held responsible for containing both inmates as well as exotic anomalies, individuals, and creatures. As for the role, you can play as a Foundation member or even a monster. The tasks of this game lead to the Roblox badges. Number 14, SCP Containment Breach Obby. This game is very similar to the ones of an obstacle course anime-like game mixed with sci-fi and horror. Your only objective is to survive. So guys, that was it for the video. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Likes and comments are highly appreciated. Bye bye!